Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6 stages of production and launch with Alexa Bigwarfe. We are so excited to see all of you here. And of course, welcome to the summit because is right around the corner. We are cannot wait for everything to get started with the regular summit things and activities, but we have had so much fun with the pre-conference things as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed what we've brought to you so far. Today is going to be wonderful. I'm going to introduce Alexa and then I'm going to turn it over to her. This is webinar style, so if you guys would like to put in the chat where you're coming from, feel free to do that. You can chat in there. But we also have a question and answer box. So if you have questions as Alexa is talking, go ahead and put those in there and we'll have time at the end for her to answer them. So here we go. Alexa Bigwarfe is a publishing consultant, speaker, and author, and founder of the Women in Publishing Summit. She specializes in helping authors navigate the publishing process professionally while building sustainable, long-term income from their books. Through WIP Society, she supports authors and publishing industry professionals build their businesses around books through marketing strategies, platform growth, business development, and networking and collaboration opportunities, making her a leading voice in author publishing, entrepreneurship, and ecosystem building. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Alexa. Everyone enjoy. Oh, you
Helps
are.
when you unmute yourself. Thank you, Joy. For everybody who hasn't had a chance to meet Joy yet, she is our newest team member and has just been helping me in ways I never even could have envisioned. She's been so wonderful. So thank you, Joy. We're so glad to have you as part of the community and the team. All right, so just in a little bit of information for you, we've got community from both the Write Publish Sell side of our house and the Women in Publishing Summit. And I like to give this session every year right before the Women in Publishing Summit because selfishly it knocks out many birds with one stone. And as a business owner, as a busy author, as a busy publishing professional, we want to make sure that we are being as efficient as possible, right? So the point of this webinar is one, to make sure that people have a clear idea of the steps and the pieces that happen during the publishing process. If you are brand new to writing, publishing, and selling a book, or if you've even been through the process once or maybe twice, but maybe are learning that there were some things you didn't know or you missed or those types of things, this is a really good opportunity for you to see everything laid out from start to finish. But as I'm going to tell you, and I'll say this probably 3 times or 4 times, I don't know, three, that was a randomly specific number, but I'll say it more than once in the presentation, that many of these stages and phases will overlap, and it's really like a big bowl of giant spaghetti than a nice line. But ideally, you will go through these 6 phases, stages, whatever you want to call it. So for me, when I started out, I didn't know anything about publishing a book. I self-published my first book and learned the ropes that way, and was very, very lucky to have a community of women who had also self-published some books who helped and guided me. And community is a theme that is very important to me, and that's why we really wanted to establish the Women in Publishing Summit, because that community is so important. All right, so I just want to take a moment and say to those of you who are just getting started out, or maybe are somewhere in the middle of the process, or maybe just launched and you're exhausted, or you're just overwhelmed by all the things coming your way, I just want to remind you, well, to congratulate you, first of all, because writing a book and publishing a book is such an important endeavor. It's so critical. Everything comes from education, really, right? And that's what books are, from the very basic beginning part, whether we're learning a skill or traveling to a far off place in a romantic comedy, or just having a moment to relax and enjoy a totally imaginary place, or learning how to deal with a chronic illness or teaching our children skills. Like books are so incredibly important. And in this day and age, women's voices are just immeasurably important. So I want to just say when you get frustrated, don't don't let it get you down. Don't let the system get you down because it's just so important that you keep on with it. And it's our job to try and make sure that you have all the tools and resources to make this as easy as possible. Now, why is it not showing up here? I'm about to share my screen and for some reason okay, because I was clicked on the wrong screen there. I did close a heck of a lot of tabs, but there are still far too many open. Okay, I'm going to put this into present mode and I'm going to move this over here to my other screen so I can see the chat. Okay, there is a Q&A box, I believe, although I don't see it. Is there a Q&A box?
There
If you have,
is.
there
Yes.
is, okay, that you can put your questions into if you have them along the way, and I will answer all questions at the end. I am far too ADHD to answer questions along the way. So, oh, like I already sidetracked myself. So the reasons we like to do this before the summit is it because it gives us the opportunity to go through all of the stages and phases, but it also allows us to talk about the tools and the companies that we like to use and when you would use them, because that's something our summit attendees requested year after year was you talk about all these amazing companies that can help us in our journey, but we don't know when and we don't know which one to use and all those types of things. So we've added them in there. And then of course we sprinkle in what's actually being covered in the conference, because if you don't have a ticket yet, I want you to know, but if you do have a ticket or if you're in WIP Society, I want you to know what's coming up so that you can plan well. But I promise you, you're going to get lots of great information. This is not just a big old sales pitch at all. Okay. Joy read my bio. Here's just a little list of the things. I think I'm up to 16 books now. I can't remember numbers, but I can tell you that I have 3 novels published and somewhere in the 10 to 12, 14 nonfiction books that I've either solo published or been a part of or co-authored. So I've done this a few times. And then I've also, as a publisher and as a self-publishing assist, when we did that as well, have published hundreds of books in all genres. So I've got a lot of experience behind me, which has helped me really refine this process and figure out how to talk to writers and publishing professionals about when, where, how, why, and all along. So your publishing plan, it's really important if you're in the beginning of this for you to actually sit down and think about the book, the plan beyond the book. So it's wonderful that you want to write a book, but I'm here to tell you right now, if you actually want to sell your book, one of the first mindset shift changes that you need to make right now is just being a writer. Is I just want to write. I hate to burst your bubble, but that's not going to happen for any of us, not even the traditionally published authors. Traditionally published authors still have to edit and revise, find an agent, pitch to agents, do lots of revisions after they start working with an agent, and then all the things that come along after that, and marketing, 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 marketing. So everybody who is an author needs to, first of all, realize you're going to have to do more than just write. And you're going to have to learn some skills as a self-promoter, as a marketer. And it's not a dirty word. It's actually quite fun. For me, marketing my books and engaging with my readers is the most fun thing that I do in all of it. Okay. So we need a plan because the more you know, the better you can succeed. And I'm here to tell you, I have literally flushed thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars down the toilet, burned it on my front lawn, whatever you want to say, in making mistakes. So my goal is always to make sure that other people do not make those same mistakes and that you have as much knowledge as possible to make educated decisions. You need to start researching the route that you're going to publish. I don't care which way you want to publish. You can hybrid publish, you can traditionally publish, you can self-publish, you can work with a self-publishing assist company. You can do whatever you want to do that's going to help you get your book published. I am not here to tell you which way is right. I will give you all kinds of information on that if you ever want to have a conversation about it, like the pros and cons. But to me, there's advantages to all routes and there's cons to all routes. But the key thing is you've got to know, because or you've got to at least have an idea where you're starting, because it will impact the things that you need to do along the way if you are self-publishing versus traditionally publishing or even hybrid publishing. So we're going to go through all these stages so that you know all the things that are happening. And along the way, I'm going to talk about some tools and companies and resources that can help you get there. Again, the budget. You are going to hear from people the following. And this happens if you're a newer author. You will probably see this in publishing groups and self-publishing groups and all these types of things. There are still people out there that say you should never pay anybody to publish your book. You should never pay for anything. You can do it all your own. You can format it on your own. You can use Canva to create a book cover. You can edit with self-editing tools, and that's true, but that doesn't negate the need for an actual editor. But I'm here to tell you that it is just not true unless you are so gifted that somehow you are the unicorn of the unicorns of the unicorns, that somehow you are an amazing writer, an amazing editor, an amazing graphic designer, an amazing formatter, that you're going to have to pay someone along the way if you're self or hybrid or kind of, self-publishing assist publishing. You should pay professionals to do the things that make your book professional, because the last thing you want to do is spend a lot of time and energy and publish a book that does not meet industry standards and that people can tell right away is not up to snuff with quality. So you've got to have a budget. I tell every author, if you're not budgeting at least $2,500, and I'm sorry to say now it's very much on the low end, you're probably not budgeting enough. But before you freak out, I also want to say there are a lot of ways that you can reduce those costs, that you can partner with people, that you can do other things to reduce those costs. But usually when you reduce costs, your time and your personal involvement in the project comes up. You can also use tools that can help you do some of these things that definitely are lower cost, but have their pros and cons as well. All right, so I'm not going to go too much farther into that. I just want you to know you've got to have a budget set aside for the expenses that are coming along. All right, so I could talk to you for days and days and weeks and years on the routes to publishing and the pros and cons of each and which way you should go. And like I mentioned before, these are all great ways to publish a book. Yes, even hybrid. For any of you who has heard negative things about hybrid, I'm a hybrid press. I know lots of really wonderful hybrid presses. Where it gets problematic is not hybrid presses so much as what's called vanity presses that will take your money and publish your book and put their logo on it and usually make you buy a lot of copies of the books, and there's no discernment. They are basically just a pay for services publisher, but they don't do an editorial process. They don't help you make sure that things are better. Like I think they just take whatever files you send them. So I'm not sure that there's any editing, all those types of things. So the important part is no matter which way you go, you need to be very educated on what types of questions to ask and what's going to work for you. At the end of the day, we want your book published, and we want your book published and looking great. So do your research. And that's part of the reason, that's a big reason why we have focused so hard on bringing industry experts into our community, so that you have the opportunity to network every month with them, to ask questions of them, to show up and make those personal relationships with people, so that you know people that you can ask questions to and have them look at your contract or anything like that. But all of these are great ways to go. You just need to do the research so that you know which one is going to be the best way for you. All right. So it would be very difficult to put this on an image of a bowl of spaghetti. So instead, I made it a winding road because the thing is, while these things have to happen in this order, obviously you can't have a post launch before you've written a book. You can't launch before your publication and distribution, et cetera, et cetera. You'll see as we go through these slides that there's a lot of things that can happen concurrently, or even you might get to one phase and then go back and do some other things. So we're just going to go through it. And these are the main things that are going to happen in each one of these phases. And I actually have a slide for each one, so we're going to go through them one by one. Just a little bit of reiteration because I like to make sure you really get the point here. You got to plan, you got to know what's coming and what's important, and very importantly, even though launch and marketing was at the very end of this winding road, you've got to start thinking about it today. Today, because knowing who your audience is, knowing who you're going to be trying to sell your book to, knowing some of those things may impact many things. It may impact the genre that you put your book in. It may impact the cover design, how you market yourself, how you start talking about yourself or your books while you're growing your platform. It's really important to know some basic book marketing things. And again, I'll talk about these in here. Okay, so stage one, writing. This is pretty cut and dry. At this point in time, we're brainstorming, we're outlining, we're plotting if that's what you do, or we're trying to plot, or we're pantsing the whole thing until it all falls apart and we cry in the corner and wonder why we didn't outline it like we keep telling ourselves we're going to do. That might just be me. We're creating our first draft. Y'all, there's a reason why it's got a reputation in the industry as being called the shitty first draft. Excuse my language, that is a technical industry term. So, but it's true. Like your first draft is going to be terrible. So just own that and move on with it and realize if you spend a whole bunch of time revising and all that kind of stuff, it's just going to slow you down. That's also why you need to realize that going through multiple rounds, going through beta readers, going through self revisions, going through different levels of editing is really important, which we'll talk about in the next one. It's really important to surround yourself with other writers. Attend or find feedback groups and writing groups. Find a book coach if you need that. Find a developmental editor or someone who can walk you through the process and be there to help you figure things out. Now, again, I'm talking to newer first time authors or even first or second time books, or if you're switching drafts. I'll be very honest with you. On my first two novels as a fiction writer, I needed a lot of support. I needed a writing coach to help me get the book done. I needed a developmental editor. I needed basically all levels of editing. And it was a lot because I'm used to writing nonfiction and I had to learn writing craft. I had to learn how to be a novelist. And it is not just something, some people are very gifted right out the gate. My daughter is amazing how just talented she is as a writer, just naturally. But there's a lot of things that we have to learn about the story, the arc, the plot, all the things, and you may need extra help. But with my third book, I was able to scale way back because I knew the genre. I knew the story arc. I knew how to write in this genre. But if I switch genres, I'm probably going all the way back to the beginning again because it's different. It's different. So you're also going to make sure that you're researching your route to publication here. All right, so some of the sponsors that we have and also just some of the tools, not everybody that I mention is a sponsor. I want to make sure that you hear about great tools, even if they're not sponsoring us. There's a lot of tools out there that will help you writing, analyzing, plotting, revising, editing, self-editing, all of these types of things. AutoCrit, for those of you who love to use tools and write and use plotting tools, and Plotter is another plotting tool. AutoCrit is a great tool. Self-editing, I live and breathe by Pro Writing Aid. I use this tool in everything all the time. And I cannot tell you how much it helps me through the self-editing process, which saves me time and money when I move on to my actual live editor. Feedback groups, writing coaches, writing tools. You've got Scrivener, Plotter, Resilient Writers, Ignite and Write, Karen Gruber coaching, lots of women and resources and tools and men as well. In our community, it's largely women, but there are lots of tools out there and people that can help you through this. But there's also many organizations like in South Carolina, we have the South Carolina Writers Association. We have bi-weekly, is that every other week, writing critique sessions in our local area. Like there's a lot of ways to get involved with groups that will help you and give you feedback. So yes, okay. Then we move into just quickly, I want you all to know if you are attending the conference, what you can expect in terms of writing related sessions. Now, for those of you who have been with us for a long time, you're going to notice a big difference. In the past, day one was just loaded with writing craft. I mean, just tons and tons of writing craft. We made a conscious decision this year to remove craft from the conference because there are so many other companies that we like to partner with and that are out there just killing it in the writing craft world. And so our writing related topics this year are more about creating and sustaining focus, for example, creating collaborations, building a writing life that pays the bills, so making money as a writer, why it's important to write in community, building author support networks. So tangentially, they're not all necessarily about writing, but in the vein of things that will help you as you're writing your books. Stage 2 of our process, I better pick it up here. We're going to be here all day. Editing. There's so much to know about editing. There are so many types. There are 4 main types of editing. There are ghostwriters that write the book for you, as opposed to collaborative writers that write the book with you, and writing coaches that help you through the process, and developmental editors that sometimes serve as more of like a writing coach, sometimes a collaborative writer. There's a lot to learn about this. So depending on what you need to know, the good news is we have a lot of editors in our community. So ask people about things. Beta readers are so important to you. Alpha readers too. Alpha readers are the folks, if you want to use this, my beta readers would probably say they feel more like alpha readers. But it's the people who get to see like the draft like after your first round of revisions, basically. So it's pretty raw writing there that they're helping you. Beta readers should be getting something. If you're using a developmental reader, I usually send to beta readers after the developmental edit so that they aren't looking at so much rawness and it's actually been developed a little bit more. Developmental editing is taking a look at the book as a whole and making sure that the story works, that the characters work, that if you're for nonfiction, that your points make sense, that the reader's taking the journey they need to take, that they're getting the transformation that they need, and all those types of things. In this, and we have resources for you on editing if you want to go deep into this. Kathy Mice of Publish just gave a phenomenal webinar that's on our YouTube channel about the 4 different types of editing. Highly recommend that if you're new and don't know a lot about editing. And then we have revisions. You're going to be doing lots of revisions. This is when you may also want to get your book analyzed or send it out for a manuscript critique after it's been through a round of editing, or at least revisions, so that you can make sure that you're on track. So manuscript critiques are great because they usually run between $300 and $500, and it's a step before editing, so they can let you know, like, okay, here are some issues you've got to fix before you move on, or this is great, this is not great, whatever. Copy editing, line editing, proofreading, all of these things. There's lots of editing, and the proofreading obviously happens after formatting and at the end. Okay, so editing tools and sponsors, Pro Writing Aid, again, they have been with us since almost the very beginning of our journey as the Women in Publishing Summit. Awesome tool. They're constantly evolving and adding really new cool bells and whistles. And we do have a coupon code for, I would say too, if you want to check out most of these people, if you go to womeninpublishingsummit.com, we have a sponsors page and they have discounts and deals for you as well. So take advantage of those because you're going to need these tools. You may as well save some money on them. All right. For beta readers, Story Origin is a great tool to use, or pop on into the community and ask in our community. Is there? We actually have a channel for people looking for beta readers now. Editing, we've got a ton of freelance editors in our community. We also have some editing companies, Sutath Editing services. We've also Readsy has a great directory of editors, and we have a directory on our website too under the resources tab that's got some links into those. For analysis and manuscript critiques, you can use Chanticleer, and many of our hybrid presses and self-publishing assist companies also do manuscript critiques like um, Publishing, Friesen Press. You can use tools like Autocrit, Inkworthy, other freelancers, Publish. I think Lulu may offer some a la carte services. I don't know, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. But lots of people that can help you with these pieces. We are creating an editing resources page. Well, it is created, but we're adding to it. And it's got the understanding the 4 levels of editing. It's got a Haley Milliman from Pro Writing Aid did a great video tutorial on how to use Pro Writing Aid. We've got some other videos and resources out there. So bookmark that if you go to womeninpublishingsummit.com/editing-resources. All right, production. This is where you really get into the nitty-gritty of why it matters to know your route to publication. In this part of the book, you're actually creating the book, or you're getting an agent or finding a publisher. Because if you go with a hybrid publisher, they're going to do a lot of these things for you. If you're working with a traditional publisher, they're doing it all for you. So if you are going self-publishing or even working with the self-publishing assist company, you'll need to think about the formatting of your interior files, creating a cover, and you want a good cover, y'all. It's so important. Making sure that you have your metadata researched, like your keywords and your categories and all those fun things, the title, the price, all of that stuff. If you are doing a children's picture book or one that requires illustrations, you'll be working with your illustrator. Getting the final files. Are you going to do a print run and try to do your own distribution, which is possible even for self-published authors? You're thinking about setting up your website. You're starting to build your launch team, and ARC means advanced reader copy. So that's kind of redundant, but you're distributing your ARC copies, growing your launch team, doing all those types of things, and you're starting to really pick up your marketing here. Usually your book is in editing when you're really getting into these things, getting your ISBN, doing all those types of things, which again, you need to make sure you know which way you're going, because if you work with a trad or hybrid press, you don't need to buy ISBNs, etc. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the production route. Different tools and organizations and companies that you can work with through here. Your book is your hook. If you're looking for agents or publishers or they do all kinds of cool things. Film rights, TV rights, all those types of things. You're definitely going to want to reach out to your book as your hook. We have lots of formatters and cover designers. Creative Blueprint did our workbook and our printable schedule every year. Susie's great. TLC Designs. There's many more. I know we have Tamian in our group, who's a very dedicated cover designer who's always here with us. And there's others in the group too. So just reach out and ask. If you're doing a children's or illustrated book, Children's Book Mastery, SCBWI, Meeble Art is another cover designer. I don't know why they do formatting and cover design. There's 100 Covers that does covers. Lots and lots and lots of companies. For printers or distributors, Ingram Spark, MCRL, Lulu, Publish, lots of other companies out there. Friesen Corp, not Friesen Press, does printing. MCRL, wonderful company to work with. We've done several print runs through them for our children's picture books, and they are excellent. If you're looking for website, there's lots of companies out there that will help you with websites. And so, you've got to figure out how much control you want versus how much you want them to do for you, and just start asking around the community, hey, who did your website? BookFunnel is a wonderful tool for sending out e-copies of your book, especially when you're growing your ARC team and trying to find new readers. There are a ton of companies. I just put BookFunnel on here because I could list out a whole bunch of them, but there are many companies that will help with distribution of files and finding advanced readers and all kinds of things. So that's something that we talk a lot more in our marketing stuff, our marketing content. Pre-launch marketing. Here, I cannot emphasize enough how much you need to start marketing your book. Not weeks, not days, definitely, but months with a capital S before your launch for your first book, especially. And really your second book. It wasn't until my third novel that I really started to see pick up from people who had read books 1 and 2 and them going out and getting that one. On the nonfiction side, because I refuse to stick in one genre, it's like starting from scratch every time. I've got grief and loss, I've got parenting, I've got inspiration, I've got journals, I've got books for writers, and every time it's like I have to start from scratch because they're all over the place and I don't have an established audience in that area who follows me because of a particular genre of books, right? It's a lot. So pre-launch marketing is really important if you want to see sales at launch. All right. So in our conference, we'll be talking about, I'm really excited about this session, actually. Chelsea Bennett from Lulu is going to come and she's going to talk about case studies of their top authors and publishers and what they have in common. And you guys, if you want to know how to succeed, take notes from people who are doing it well. And especially if they're all doing the same things, take double notes and highlight it twice. We're going to talk about what you need to know before publishing your book, going a little bit deeper with Mindy Kuhn from Warren Publishing. So, all the things that you need to know before so that you don't make a mistake, because there are a lot of things you can't redo after that. So then we're going to have the Indie Publisher's Dilemma with Lori McKnight. She's from MCRL. So we're going to be talking about doing a print run and the challenges with that, why you should do it, what the benefits are, what the pros and cons and all of those kinds of things. So if you've ever wondered if I should go out and do my own run of 500 to 1,000 books, we're going to get into that discussion. And then Jennifer Wilkov from Your Book is Your Hook is going to give us a keynote on the state of publishing in 2026, trends, shifts, and opportunities. That's going to be a great session. And you can visit our publishing and production resources page where we're putting up free resources for you, webinars that we've done, blog posts, and all of those at our publishing-resources page. Woo! We're only halfway through, you guys. Okay. Well, good. I'm right on time. Stage 4, publication and distribution. So this is, if the last one was getting all the things done so that your book could be published, you're assembling your book, you're doing all the things. Now we're actually going out the door. The book is going to be in the hands of readers, but first you have to decide where you're publishing and how you're distributing the book. Y'all, talking about distribution can make your head feel like it's been wrapped in peanut butter, and there's a lot of things to it. But here is the nuts and bolts of what you need to know. If you are traditionally published or have traditional distribution, that means the following. there is going to be a print run of your book. This was almost always the case. Now I've seen some, never mind, I'm not going to get into that. Print run of your book. It's housed at a distribution company. Um, and when someone orders your book from bookstores or from Amazon or from wherever it's getting ordered from, it comes through the distribution route, however it's set up, whether that's from a warehouse, individually, wherever it's from, it goes through those folks to the store. Then that's so hands off, all that kind of stuff. Everybody else, if you're self-publishing, lots of hybrid presses, but it just depends. There are some hybrids, like my children's book, who do traditional distribution and print runs, but it's very challenging. Or self-published authors, you will follow more of a more than likely print on demand, POD, as it's called. So print on demand means, in theory, that when someone goes to the bookstore or to Amazon or wherever they're shopping for their books and they click buy, then it's going to print off one copy of the book and ship it out and they get it. But it doesn't always happen that way, which is a discussion for a different day. Major self-publishing platforms, I forgot to update this. There are always new companies and people coming in all the time, but the ones you'll hear the most of right now are KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, which is Amazon, Ingram Spark, which is the largest global distributor in the world, and they have warehouses and distribution points all over the globe. So a lot of people use them. That this is one of your best ways if bookstores are your focus area, which is quite challenging for indie authors. Again, we can dig into that later. Draft to digital, and now Draft to digital is helping authors who are in KDP Select actually get their ebooks into libraries. Big new change this year, which was pretty awesome. I also want to put in here, Lulu helps publishing assist, and they can do prints and distribution as well as Publish Drive and many others. And I apologize if we've missed some people. Like I said, I think Publish has a distribution element of their company as well. So the publishing world is really always on the go and always evolving. So new companies pop up, people change, people do different things. So it's worth keeping aware of who's coming in and out. More on the metadata here. And what the metadata here is going to be, did you do it right? If people aren't clicking on your book, maybe your description isn't as good as it is. Maybe you need to update some keywords and categories. Maybe you need to do some things to change your pricing if it's too high or too low, or those types of things. And then the formats and the distribution or not. These are all questions that you have to ask yourself or ask experts. Should I do ebook, audio, paperback, and hardcover all at the same time? Should I not do a hardcover? Should I only do ebook and audiobook? These are questions that you need to decide before the book is actually launched, but these are pieces of your distribution conversation. And then, am I distributing to every place that I can, or am I keeping it in-house in one place? All very important to know. All right, so for traditional distribution, probably most of us aren't looking that route, but if you go to the IBPA website, the Independent Book Publishers Association, they have a full list of resources, including distributors. Self-publishing platforms, again, we've got Ingram Spark, KDP, Draft to Digital, Publish Drive, and many more. Hybrid presses in our community this year, Luminare, Warren should be on here, 5-2 Press, Grace Point Publishing, and more in the community. And for self-publishing assist, we have Lulu Publish, Friesen Press, Children's Book Mastery, Wonder Lady Books, Hybrid Global. Actually, I think Hybrid Global is also a hybrid, and many more wonderful publishers that you will get to meet in our summit and our publisher speed dating, which will be on day 4. Okay, so our publication related sessions, again, we pulled back from doing a lot of sessions on book production and book distribution during the actual conference because we're focused on different topics, which we're about to get to as we come up. But we do have resources on the website and can help you in all of those types of things. But there are several things that you may see out there, like um, when to publish your book. Slow Your Roll is an I'm having troubles with words. It's too late on a Friday. Is a session about shifting her launch date and why she decided to postpone it so dramatically. Practical ways that publishers can support author success. So that's one for our publishers. So if you're an indie publisher, we do have, or a publishing pro in our community, we do have sessions specifically for you guys. How to anthologize, a masterclass in collaborative publishing, which is a really cool way to come together as nonfiction, fiction, any type of genre books coming together for supporting and promoting each other. Obviously, we'll talk about what's coming up in the publishing with the state of publishing. And then in our publisher speed dating, what we do is we set up individual rooms that you can go in and out of, and you can go talk to all the publishers and publishing assist companies that we have in our community and learn about them. It's not a pressure, it's not a sales thing. It's just come in and talk to the people who run these organizations and find out if it could be a good fit for you. All right, next, book launch. This is the marketing piece of all the things that you are doing to get your publication out into the world. And we've talked about some of these things along the way because you're doing some of these things and you're working on them as you go through. We're talking about, and again, all of these things, I cannot impress upon you that it's going to depend on which route to publishing that you go as to whether or not you need to do these things and your goals with your book. There's a lot of things you can spend a lot of money on, but if your goal is to just have a book that you can take with you to sell at the back of the room when you are speaking at places, you don't necessarily need to do a lot of these paid activities, I should say. Always, but for those of you who are nonfiction authors and want to be speakers, it is good to have lots of great reviews on your book if you're using your book as a launching stage for a launching platform for speaking. So you do want to build up the launch team and the reviews and all of that kind of stuff. But all of these, there are just tons and tons of things that we can talk about. But at the end of the day, it's about building buzz, finding readers and getting visibility around and people talking about your book and sharing your book and getting in front of readers. So that takes time to build it up and consistently. Now, you can spend a lot of money and build it up more quickly, but they may not be as good as if it's grassroots type efforts. But anyway, lots and lots of things to talk about on these. So the folks that we have in our community that help with that, for getting reviews and submitting for awards, Book Award Pro, Forward Reviews, Kirkus, Chanticleer Reviews, International Book Awards, Reader Reviews, Authentic Book Reviews, for building a launch team and an ARC team or influencer tours, Love Book Tours, Children's Book Review, wonderful companies. Really help with the visibility and growth around your launches, email list growth, Book Funnel. Marketex is a company that works with authors and speakers, and mostly nonfiction authors and speakers, and they can help you build your visibility and email list as well. Visibility, PR, marketing, and launch strategy. We have Abundantly Social, Marketex, Lily and Sue in our community. We have a number of Chrissy, oh gosh, I just forgot Chrissy's last name. I should have put it, Bernal. We've got an April Pertwee, a number of people in here who help with visibility, with PR, marketing, all of those types of things. And then for your buzz paid promo lists, our wonderful opportunity, Written Word Media, Fussy Librarian. Again, the list goes on and on for promo companies. And you just want to be thinking about this stuff long in advance so that you can make your plan and so that you can make your budget, because most of this stuff is not free in this part. Marketing is where you really can spend some big bucks, but it's also one of the places that you can save money on if you're doing more things in advance. All righty. So for our launch related sessions, we've got Amy Ravichandran from Socially Abundantly Social, and that's how to get your book into the hands of readers. And day 3 is how to get reviews and turn them into marketing gold with Hannah Jacobson of Book Award Pro. And we will be doing one of the things that we decided to do this year, why we pulled out some of the different sessions, is that we have 1 to 2 day deep dives in our boot camps. So in June, we'll have our next boot camp, and that's going to be all about marketing and launch related type stuff. So keep an eye out for that. Post launch. Post launch is where you keep the wheels turning. I 100,000,000% guarantee you that if you don't do any marketing after your book launches, you will see zero sales. And it's just truth. It's truth from 12 years of looking at data. And if you're not out there talking about your book regularly, posting about your book, sharing about your book, or finding ways to get other people to do it for you, i.e., getting on podcasts, i.e., running these paid promos, i.e., connecting with influencers and all of those folks, you're gonna see your interest in your book just fall flat. But it's more than just about those types of marketing. This is also when you start running your paid promos, like tomorrow's Valentine's Day. It would have been super smart of me as a romance author on the fiction side to have set up a free download day in advance, but I forgot to do that and realized today was the 13th. I might still be able to set it up, but if you're on Amazon, you can do a $0 free download day. You can reduce your pricing to 99 cents, send an email to your list and say, "Hey, it's Valentine's Day. My romance book is on sale," etc., etc. Getting on podcasts, getting speaking events, continuing to apply for book awards. Book awards are such a wonderful way for you to market your book without feeling gross, because you've won something and it's a great opportunity for you to tell everybody about it. Look at this, my book, and it's non-biased, right? Someone else gave your book an award. If you are thinking about selling rights, either foreign rights or movie rights, TV show rights, all of those types of things, you're starting to look into how you go about that. Growing your team if you need to, or finding support as you realize that it becomes harder and harder for you to just write when you're also trying to build a business around books. And continued email list growth. These are going to be really key ways to help you when you launch your next book to make sure that you're getting enough sales. Whew, let me take a sip of water. I know, isn't that weird? Friday the 13th, two months in a row. Okay. So for post-launch folks, to help you, this is really where you're going to lean into the long-term marketing strategy, folks. And I know we have many people in our audience that help with long-term strategy and PR and marketing, but the paid promos have been and there are so many more lists than this. And I saw the question, I'm going to address it right now. I saw if there's any that you should be warned against. So with the promo lists, you really want to pay attention to how many people they have on your genre list. So I've never had a bad experience with a paid promo list. What I have seen is that the list was too if you put your book in a place that your book's not suited for as well. So Written Word Media and Fussy Librarian, they have massive distribution lists. They cover every genre. You're going to be okay. But there's a lot of other lists that get a little bit more niche down, and you want to make sure that your book is a good fit before you just put it in there. But these can be tremendous ways to grow and find new readers by using some of these, but it ain't cheap. So you want to make sure you're paying attention. And Written Word Media is one of our sponsors, and we do have a coupon code to reduce the price of that. But I mean, you can get, especially if you put your book for free, thousands of downloads in a free download day or multiple in a row. So I'm a huge fan of that. Speaking events, April Pertwee from Light Beamers, Mic Drop Workshop. We have other people in our community who help with helping people become speakers or getting out and getting publicity and getting on stages. Audiobooks. If you didn't have the time or the budget to do an audiobook when you launched your book, then in the post launch is when you definitely want to get on that. So we have Mary Catherine Jones from the Audiobook Experience. Excuse me. Not only will they record audiobooks on your behalf, find the narrator, do all that kind of stuff, they also have a second option where they will work with you and help you get set up in the right way in your community and kind of guide you through the recording experience. We also have Twin Flame Studio, who also is an audiobook production company, and then Zoundy is an audiobook marketing company that we're very excited to partner with this year, and for our Columbia book marketing event as well, coming up at the end of March. And again, for movies, TV shows, and sales of rights, check out Your Book is Your Hook, or do some Googling. Ask other people if you know someone who has had a book optioned or has sold foreign rights. Ask them who they worked with. So here are your post-launch sessions, things about after the book has been launched, beyond the bookstore, partnering with unexpected brands to grow your career, pen to people, creative ways to share, sell, and inspire, publishing in stereo, how to grow your list with audio, building a writing life that pays the bills. That's a good one. Beyond the book, building recession-proof income streams AI can't replace, making waves, turning your passion into a publishing career. Tasha Haight is a real life mermaid. And so that's going to be a fun one, and how she wrote a book about that. So for nonfiction authors, taking what you do from day to day and creating books out of that. For those of you who like the idea of working with AI and using it as a resource, we've got a couple of sessions around that. And are you leaving money on the table? So what can Publish Drive help you to do to maximize your book sales? All right, the last piece of this in post launch is really the meat of our community and what we do. So community and collaboration is where we are just going hard in the paint this year. We really want to bring the people in our summit community together to see different ways that we can work together and collaborate, because single-handedly it's really hard to sell a book. But when you come together with 6, 10, 50 other people who are working together at the same end goal, you're going to see much better results. So within our community, we've got communities for writers, we've got communities specifically for publishing professionals, and then we've got communities where everybody blends all together. And we're talking a lot about collaboration in this conference, and I am so excited about the wonderful content that we have around this. And as you'll see, it's not really divided by fiction, nonfiction, children's book, or anything like that, because while some of these may be all fiction authors talking, or some of these may be all nonfiction or whatever, these rules can be, or these suggestions can be applied across the board. Anybody, regardless of genre, can come together and cross promote each other's books and do author swaps and giveaways, and can combine audiences, services, and all those types of things, can build connection and community, can collaborate to share ideas and resources and help each other out there, can pool your resources and launch another business together, can come in community and be supported by others, and can empower and support other authors in the process. So many great sessions giving us ideas and ways that we can come together and support each other and work together. And I am pumped up about this part of our conference. All right, just one last thing here, one last slide. We could not do this without our sponsors. Not only do they help us run the event, by the way, it's womeninpublishingsummit.com/tickets. If you're so fired up right now, you can't wait to be there. Joy, will you drop the link to the conference ticket page on there? But we could not do this without our our sponsors, and they are all so generous to give of their time to come to the conference to answer questions. We have a full 90 minutes of booths with our sponsors on the very first day of the conference, where you can hop in to any of the booths and talk to any of our sponsors and ask questions and get to know them. Again, not pitchy, not sales forward, just what do you need to know about my company and whether or not I can help you or be a resource for you. They show up as guest experts in our monthly sessions. They come to networking. They're very generous, and most of them have all given um, some sort of either discount or coupon code or a free download or free resource to help you out in this process. So please definitely visit our sponsors page and check out what discounts we have for you there. All right. So we would love for you to join us March 8th through 11th. It's fully virtual. That's womenandpublishingsummit.com/tickets. You can see the whole schedule on the website if you want it, but I went through most of the sessions in there. There's some that we didn't put on the slides, but you can go see all of those. Fully virtual. You also get access to our community chat, which is even has an app. We've got all kinds of different rooms that you can join. So it's easier than a Facebook page because you can actually go into specific rooms and say, hey, I'm looking for beta readers. Hey, I need an editor. Hey, will somebody take a look at my cover and tell me what I need to do? Or those types of things are happening in there all the time, sharing resources, asking for help, all of that kind of stuff. If you are the type of person who, and recordings, you have them till the end of the year. So if you can't attend live, you'll have access to the recordings, and we do monthly networking every month. So you'll continue to be able to come in and meet in person and chat and get to know people. If you prefer to meet in person, we are having what I'm calling a storytelling, visibility, and business growth conference in Columbia, South Carolina, March 26th to 28th. So you can get information about that at womenandpublishingsummit.com/Columbia. It's extremely reasonably priced for a 2.5 day event, lots of great sessions, and we're working on more of this type of stuff, getting together in groups and finding our collaborators, learning about sharing our story and visibility, some business growth stuff, working with experts all day long to help us with things like determining if we need to create reels for social media or what kind of posts, how to write your email sequence, what kind of things you can do in that, how to craft your story for getting on, for if you want to do more speaking, all kinds of things we're going to be able to learn on the first day. And then on the second day, we are implementing in tracks and in specific organized way. So that's going to be fantastic. If you're even considering it, please go ahead and get your ticket, because our block room price is ending on February 25th. So if you're traveling in, the room rate is really reasonable per night. And we do have people looking for roommates as well. But that block room rate ends on February 25th. Okay. That is the end of my official presentation. And now I am going to go in, and we have not very much time. I did not leave very much time. Oh, yay, Larissa, can't wait to see you. Wonderful. Yay. Okay. Let's see here.
We have 3 questions in the Q&A box, or well, maybe more than that now. I'm answering the editing one, and you can kind of go through them.
Where do you find writing coaches? You can Google it. Google is always a great resource. You can go to major writing communities, go to the Authors Guild, go to Readsy. You can come to the Women in Publishing Summit. We've got writing coaches in there. There's lots and lots of ways to find it. You can talk to other writers and ask them if they used a writing coach. Okay, regarding ISBNs, if you get them from your publisher, are you able to publish your book elsewhere? Are you limited to stay with the publisher you got the ISBN from? An ISBN, if you're with a publisher and you have an ISBN through that publisher is your publisher on record. So if you take a free one from Amazon, for example, you are only allowed to publish on Amazon. If you work with, this is where you got to be careful. Now, it depends. So, okay, there's self-publishing assist companies can assign you an ISBN and you can still go publish other, they can own it and you can still, it depends on what your agreement is. So I can't answer that question because everybody operates differently. What I can tell you is if you're self-publishing, don't ever take an ISBN from someone else. Only use an I always have your own ISBN if you're self-publishing. And if you're being published by a hybrid or traditional publisher, you are giving them the rights to publish your book. So you cannot publish your book anywhere else. You may have the rights to publish like your audiobook someplace else, but these are the types of things you need to ask your publisher, and you need to make sure you read through your contract and see what it is specifically. But I can't answer that blanketly. How do you find self-publishing assist? Any company that helps an author prepare their book for publication, and that can be from little pieces along the way to helping you find an editor to helping you do all the little pieces of it to helping you load your book to Amazon or Ingram Spark, to companies that offer packages that they will do it all for you. They get everything ready and then they hand it over to you and you load it to your own accounts. Some of them will also assist in that. But basically, the biggest thing between self-publishing assist and anybody who is a publisher is that your files go into your account. So if anyone is publishing anything of yours in their account, they are your publisher. You need to be very well aware of that. And if you are a self-publishing assist, not an actual publisher, you should not be publishing other people's books in your account. That's one of the main reasons people's accounts get shut down and violations and all that kind of stuff. So know what you're getting into. Know if they're actually a publisher and where your book is going to be published. All right, might be a bit off topic, but do we need help or resources around tax? Oh, yes. So we just had a business boot camp in October. We will be doing the business boot camp again in August this year, I believe. But it is, we have all kinds of resources on that. Yes, now you need an accountant. None of us are tax people, but we brought in accountants and experts and things like that. You can Google bookkeepers, CPAs for authors or for publishers, any of those type of stuff. See who's in your community. And we have some folks in our community that offer bookkeeping and help of that nature as well. Will there be sessions about juggling all the needs that need to be done without losing your mind? No, we don't have anything specifically on that. However, the long answer is that collaboration and working with people can really help you do those kinds of things. So, do I have a specific session on how do you manage your time and all those kinds of things? No, but I'm pretty sure we've done a workshop in the past at some point in time. I'm sure we have something somewhere on the podcast or something, but for me, it's calendar blocking and trying to keep really good checklists of things. We have a very detailed publishing and book launch checklist, all of those types of things. So, oh yeah, we are having a panel on avoiding burnout. I don't know if that's going to dig into that or not. But an ebook gives you much lower profit, so I'm torn about that. Okay, I don't know if that was a continuing conversation. Ebooks totally depend on profit. I'm here to tell you that we sometimes make a lot more money on our ebooks than we do on our print books. So it just depends. And here's the thing. Here's the bigger answer around what formats that you're doing in. It doesn't cost you any extra money to do an ebook versus a paperback, right? Because your cover designer in almost all cases are going to give you your cover for your print book and your ebook. The interior file the PDF, most formatters or most formatting tools like Vellum and Atticus and things like that will give you the PDF and the EPUB file. So there's really no additional expenses that go along with doing an ebook and a paperback. So in my opinion, there's absolutely no reason not to do both because people read uh, different in different genre. Okay, well, yeah, if your book has, yeah, okay. Lorianne, that's a good point. It depends on the type of book, right? That's absolutely like with children's picture books, we hardly see any sales on the ebooks and it is much harder to get those done. So it does depend on your genre. But for most of you who have a standard book, a standard nonfiction or a standard fiction book that doesn't have a lot of special bells and whistles and all those kinds of things, you may as well do both versions. And then the audiobook, but basically you want to give people as many options as possible because some people prefer ebooks, some people prefer print. In a book like that, though, it's probably going to be one that people prefer to have the print version of. So this is remember when I was talking to you about who your target audience is as making a decision way back in the beginning? These are the kinds of questions you need to also be thinking about. Is my audience mostly ebook readers? Do they need large print? A lot of us getting into that area these days. Do they only listen to audiobooks? Should I make sure there's an audiobook? Do they do lots of types of things? So those are different types of questions that you're going to be asking yourself. Okay. I can't say I know I am so severely biased, but I do want to tell you that we have heard from many, many, many people who have attended many, many different events that ours truly is one of the best out there. It says, "Hey Alexa, how do I market my book?" Yes, but we put on a fantastic event. We have some of the best speakers in the industry. We have just great content. We have a great community, and we have great ways to stay in touch and continue being together the whole time. So I really hope that you'll join us. And again, if you're not able to come to the actual virtual conference, please go to our events page and on our website because we have free webinars every single month. We have a lot of other types of things going on as well. And then I would just absolutely love to see you in person in Columbia. We're going to have a blast there. And there's just nothing better than actually getting to hug you in person and all of those. Let's see, what's most likely a scam? Gotten some help from mindfulness groups. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of scammers out there. That's another reason why it's so important to have a community of people who actually know what they're talking about. Um, because we can give you answers on, and I don't know every company out there, but I guarantee you there's somebody in our community who probably has heard of or has experience with so many things. Okay, hopefully I got all of your questions answered, and we will put the recording up so that if you came in late or had to leave early or were just here for the recording, you've got access to this. We really hope to see you in our upcoming events, whether it's the big summit, a webinar, or any of those things. And I hope you found some benefit to the information. Let's see, is anyone allowed to attend the event in person in Columbia? Is it just for your group? No, everybody, please, by all means, come to the conference. We picked a bigger venue this year because our last one only had enough room for 75 people, and we wanted to be able to include more people. So we've got plenty of space, plenty of room. womenandpublishingsummit.com/Columbia. The more the better because we really want to build these collaboration groups. And so we want to try and get a good blend of genres so that people have people they can collaborate with and all of that such stuff. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And we will see you on the web. By the way, our next virtual networking event is also the first week of March. So you can check that out on our website and register for that if you would like to. And we will see everyone soon. Lou, did you have a question? See your hands up. I'm going to stop the recording.